All right. Now, let's discuss wickfills. All right. Now, let's use all the information that we have gathered and discuss wickfills. All right. So, the first thing is, what are wickfills, right? To understand wickfills, you have to understand that a body has a body range and a wick range. All right. However, not all wicks are going to be valid for a wick range, all right? You have to understand what wick that you can use as a wick range and what wick range can you use to take advantage of, all right? So now let's say we have a bearish candle, and then on that bearish candle, we have an upper wick, and then we have a lower wick, all right? On that body, right, we have the body range, all right? So this body is a range of its own, all right? And then the upper wick is a range of its own, and the lower wick is a range of its own. All right, now let's look at a bullish candle, and on the bullish candle as well, it's the same thing. You have your bullish body, and then on your bullish body, you have your upper wick and your lower wick, all right? On that upper wick and the lower wick, you have a range, upper wick range, you have your body range, all right? And you have your lower wick range, all right? So for you to trade this successfully, you have to see, is this wick big enough for us to give us a wick range? Is this wick big enough to give us a trade, a good trade, something with good risk to reward management, right? So let's look at our chart right now. What wicks can we consider that they are good wicks to give us a good range for us to trade, all right? We have this one, we have this one. This wick right here has already been traded, this one, right? That wick range has already been completed by this one. So what you can use is, you can use this wick range, all right? Your first profit here, and you also have another wick range to your left to fulfill. So whenever price comes down here and you're targeting that wick range, also make sure that it will be a good idea to target this wick range as well. So your first take profit when this one, when price comes to this one, to the first one, and then your second take profits on the last wick range, all right? Because price will react to this area before it pushes lower, if it's going to push that lower, all right? And we're saying this is a good range because if you look to your left around this area, this is all clean traffic, all right? Market hasn't been in this area for a while, which gives us room for price to come all the way down, all right? So this is actually a good trade setup that we can look into this week, considering our market closed last week, all right? So now let's look at how you can trade a range up in personal, all right? So let's use an example in the market. All right, so let's look at the next range that we have. We said we can trade this range right here. So you have your support, all right? And if price breaks support, you have your target, all right? So considering that you have used all of the other information that we did before, and price has fallen all the way to this area, and let's say price has been rejected and went back for a retest, or price has been consolidating around this area, and it gives you a candlestick confirmation that price is going to push lower. So you can enter at that moment targeting this low right here. All right. So after price is traded all the way down here, you have to understand that price is most likely going to find some rejection around this area, because that is a low, that is support that price needs to break before it continues to go lower. And if you look at this candle, it dipped down to that low and it rejected. This candle dipped down to that low and it rejected. And we have our last bearish candle before price went up. That means that candlestick can be an order block. All right. So you would definitely see something happen and wait for that candlestick confirmation that can push price lower. All right. Something that has good risk to reward ratio. All right. Another weak fill that you can look at is this one to our left right here. So right now we're only using examples that are about to happen, that has a foreseeable future in this week or the next week. So you have this one right here, right? And this one, we said you are going to target that one when price gives you a confirmation around this support. All right, so when price gives you a confirmation around this support, I would appreciate it if you entered a trade targeting this week fill and this week fill as well. All right, because if you look at that area, right, you only have the low, the week fill low, that's on the lower time frames that price can react to. And besides that, it has all the room to actually cover this area right here. All right, remember, keep it simple. Just wait for a candlestick confirmation. You don't need to draw a lot. Just use your eyes, trust what you see, and trade your truth. All right, trade what you see and just make sure that you're using proper risk to reward ratio that we have talked about. Stick to that and you shall be fine. All right, just wait for your candlestick confirmation. All right, good. Now, let's go through that again and then we can move on to the next thing.